Welcome folks, R30Hedron here, and I'm back with SpaceChem. When we last left off, we ended up finishing No Ordinary Headache, and we're off to No Thanks Necessary. Names of these puzzles are based on the storyline, and in fact, speaking of storyline, thought this was kind of funny. This fellow ended up ending his email with an emoticon. I don't know, thought this was kind of funny. Anyways, we're off to this level. Now, this was the first level, when I first played through this game, that I actually had trouble with. So we'll see how well I can do with this. I did a little bit of thought off camera on how I would do it, and I think I've got an idea. We're going to do a couple of sensor reactors, like so. So, how I think I'm going to do this. So we've got water and sodium chloride coming in from here at about 67% water, 33% sodium chloride, which is really, really salty water. Way saltier than it probably should be compared to Earth, but then again, I think I've stated this last episode, this is not Earth. So what I think I'm going to do is something like this. So my idea is that I'm going to split these molecules into hydrogen and hydroxide ion, the OH, and the sodium and the chloride. Chloride and the OH will go into a recycler, viewed here. So I'm going to do that now. So this pipe is going to go straight up to there. Meanwhile, hydrogen and sodium will go into the next pipe at, again, 67% hydrogen, 33% sodium chloride. Because what we're trying to do is make nitric acid and sodium nitrate, both of which need an Na and an H. So what I'm going to do is, again, we're going to have a molecule running in, or a Waldo running into the side of the wall, doing that. So we want to input, grab, that'll debond, and on that same tick we will drop, and we will output to psi either the hydrogen or the sodium. Then we don't care where it goes, we just want it out of our lives. So we get rid of the residual, whatever you call it, and do that. So, in this case it's sodium, it'll be the same thing for water. We just have to debond that one bond. Tried to output and didn't work. Okay, so what's going wrong here? I think I probably need to swap colors. Just do that. And then shift all of these. I could click and drag correctly to the blue layer. That should do it. Don't even need the sensor so far. So debonds, outputs. And there's a little molecule going to the recycler where we don't have to deal with it. And there we go. So we'll have this input going to there. So that's one reactor, I think, done. So that leaves this reactor. So what are we going to do with this? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to put nitrogen up there and oxygen there. Seems fair. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use that sensor. I'm going to split the nitrogen, put it here, and the oxygen down there. We're getting nitrogen at 25% and oxygen at 75%. And I'll be honest, splitting it now is going to be easier than splitting it later. So what I'm going to do, it's a trick I ended up using a couple of episodes ago. I'm going to use the sinks just in case, because I tend to like sinks. Is that going to do where I want it to go? Yes, it is. So red Waldo will call in and grab, which means we can probably shift all of these forward one. like so. So both of those will grab like so. We're going to put this bonder here. So, not a bonder, it was a... What's this thing called? Sensor? Yes. And use this fellow. Now I want this trigger element to be oxygen. Cue the lag. Actually, let's change that. Go back to nitrogen. Come on, come on. And just get rid of these. Shift that there. Shift that there. To nitrogen, and I just realized I put those in the wrong spot. I actually want that there. Yep, that's right. And now I want them to be oxygen instead. See, I'm just guessing and checking. When in doubt, it works. The reason I wanted to do that is because it's going to be debonded by the time it reaches here. Something like that. Yeah, that looks good. So what I want to do, it'll grab, it'll debond, debond, debond. Actually, if I shift that to blue layer, I can make it do with one less, which means I could probably shift this over a little bit. Give me a little bit more breathing room. There we go. So what this is going to do is it'll grab the nitrogen or the oxygen, debond it completely so that the blue Waldo holds one and the red Waldo holds one. Then we'll go down like so. And now I just need to put extra sinks so that I don't, like so. I think I want to do this. Just trying to think of how I want to do this most effectively. So we are going to need a red. We are going to need sinks there. Okay, just like I thought. So we're going to wait for the blue Waldo. No. Okay, so blue Waldo would be first here. I know that much. So it'll drop the oxygen and output the oxygen. So far, so good, right? Drop and output. So far, so good, I think. Let's see if the first atom is it's an oxygen, so I'm lucky there. So debonds. Drop. Yep, that does collide. So how do I want to mitigate that? Something like that. That might do it. Yeah, spacing would do it. And then just waits for it to go through that cycle. Now what I want to do, if it's in this path... Actually, I think I might want to do that. Uses a couple of extra molecules, but I'll be honest, I don't want any collision of these paths in the long run. Something like that. Then all I have to do is get the red Waldo there. Like so. So it'll reconnect at the sinks for the next loop round. Oh, this is going to get messy pretty quickly here. So for the nitrogen, how do I want to do nitrogen? Nitrogen might be... Well, I know I'm going to drop here for both, and output both. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay, there. No, that definitely wasn't it. I wanted sine, not omega. Come on. Like so. Now, how do I want to do this? No, that's not it. Let's lengthen these pipes like so. Oh, just realized a flaw with one of my plans. Let's try this. So it'll do one oxygen first. Then there's a nitrogen. Yep, that does collide. How do I prevent the collision? Use more symbols than there should be. That's how. That should do it. So it'll do an oxygen, like so. And there's a nitrogen, and that collides. Why does that collide? Seriously, why is that colliding? It's not supposed to be colliding. It's just... Okay. Let's just do that. Let's just restart from scratch that bit. This is going to be a long episode. So I want this trigger element again to be oxygen. Something like that? Maybe? Drop, drop. Something like that. Trying to think of how I want to do this. I think I'm going to do that. Just do it nice. Something like that. Shift these over so that that's nice and out of the way. It's a bit of a long about way of doing it, I will admit, but any solution's a good solution at this point. It's a difficult level. Again, do something like... Oh, now I see why it collided. Yep, that's colliding just at the very corner. Wow. Talk about, Actually, I'm still gonna need that. Maybe... Yeah, I'm still gonna need that, I think. So, drop. Drop. Output. So that should, I hope, take care of most of the problems. I just have to be sure... Oh, I'm going to need sinks. I was thinking I was going to be able to do this without sinks, but I'm just going to have to use them. Because I just realized one major flaw with my plan, and that's if this thing has to wait for the outputs. Blue Waldo goes through first there, so that should do it. And really, in retrospect, I'm gonna just combine them now, except that's gonna cause sync issues. Ah, well. Come on. Don't want the lag. Okay, that should work. So there's one oxygen, sinks, output, sink. Forgot to put that output there. So there's going to be a couple of wasted cycles, but I think that'll work. I'm probably going to cut out a bit of my, what I was doing with the last bit, because some of that is just a mess. Trying to figure out how to get that to work. Now I need another sensor reactor. Somewhere. Something like that. So 7 was nitrogen. There's only... So that'll be 5. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope, not quite. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? No. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. I'm trying to make it so that because there's 3 oxygens for every nitrogen. Trying to get that to work pretty nicely. Then all I have to do is do that. These pipes are starting to get a bit scrambled, methinks. So what this needs to do is get a oxygen, nitrogen, oxygen, oxygen. So that then you can just bind that together and split it to the hydrogen and sodium nitrates. And actually, to make it easier, I'm going to do that. So, this is a pretty straightforward one, unlike the rest. All I have to do is something like that. The second one there. So we'll input and grab, so that'll grab our nitrogen. Just realized I'm going to need something like this. So input on red, input, input. So that should do it. See if this works. Has to wait for the next oxygen to go through the pipes. And that does seem to work. Now to think of how I want to do this. That might do it. Add an extra bond in there. Because I'm going to need a double bond on one of those oxygens, and if I can get it done on this pipe, or on this reactor, I'll save... Yeah, that does work. Not too shabby. So I think what I'm going to do then... So we got this. So, okay. It's a double bond there. Come on, come on. Double bond, double bond, double bond. There. So I think I'm going to do... It's going to be something like this. So, I'm going to need that sensor. So, in, grab. Input on beta. This guy will do our bond again. I love this trick. So there will be a hydrogen or a sodium there now. Now I just need the sensor to tell me what type it is. If it's a sodium, come on, sodium. Sorry, if it's a hydrogen, save on a symbol. Not that it really matters. Then I'm going to do this. Drop out. Otherwise, drop out. I'm going to do a quick check to see if that does what I want it to do. Except I forgot to finish this. Figures. Drop out. Like so. And then back over in this reactor. Just realized that's in the wrong positioning. So that's fantastic. Okay. This should work now. Drop out. And let's try a hydrogen. If that works. So let's go ahead and see it in action. Let that run. See all the little molecules. I'm actually happy with this one. A little bit simpler than what I ended up doing with my original playthrough, so not too shabby. And then we have to wait for the nitrogen to catch up, and not too bad. I'm happy with it. I'm quite happy with it. And that level took a lot longer than I thought it did. So this will probably be the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching, folks. This has been R30 Hadrian playing SpaceChem. Happy reaction engineering, folks.